Hi everyone, it's Katie from Chords Records. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and thinking of people who may have lost their mother. And I thought today would be a really good day to curate a selection of songs on vinyl from artists that have either been inspired to write a song about their mother, to their mother, potentially about someone else's mother. And I've come up with a list of 10 songs, which I think you'll quite enjoy. I've created a Spotify playlist. I do this very occasionally when it's a kind of a really curated collection, a mixtape, if you will. So it's in my description below if you want to go straight there. But for now, I'd love to share with you the first deep cut. And there are going to be a few deep cuts in this collection. And this one is such a beautiful song by Bruce Springsteen. There's two on this list that I don't have the vinyl for, and I'm going to rectify it very soon. And the first one is Bruce Springsteen, The Wish. And this was a song that was on the original Tracks compilation of album that he did. It was a collection of vinyl, and of course Tracks 2 came out last year. But the original Tracks 1 had this song, The Wish, on it. And you can get it on streaming, but it's also featured in his Springsteen on Broadway soundtrack of the actual musical event on Broadway. And it is such a stunning song. And the lyrics are actually quite obvious. And he actually mentions Mother's Day in the song, but it's such a beautiful tribute, and I thought that was a really great way to kick off this Mother's songs list. Songs for Mothers, I'll call it. The next one is another classic. Actually, I shouldn't say another classic. It's the first classic in this list. And I really couldn't... When I thought about doing this, I thought this was the very first song I thought about. And it's Coat of Many Colours by Dolly Parton. Is it the greatest song tribute to a mother ever written? Dolly Parton is a supreme songwriter, and now would be a really good time to shout out my mum. Happy Mother's Day, Mum. I know you'll watch this video on Mother's Day. And this, Dolly Parton was actually the first concert I ever went to. Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers in New Zealand, and I went with my mother. So Coat of Many Colours is such a beautiful song on this album, Coat of Many Colours. And this particular vinyl version is so beautiful. It's one of the Vinyl Me Please, the country track that they did back in the day. And it's beautifully produced, beautiful kind of tip-on jacket, very high gloss, just stunning. And as with all those issues, they came with a really great essay. I'm trying to collect them all of this particular track. I've got probably about half of the Vinyl Me Please country, but they were all beautifully produced, mastered by Ryan K. Smith. At Sterling Sound, pressed on, and this one was a rainbow splatter vinyl, which I might as well show you. It didn't really matter about the colour of the vinyl for these ones. They all sound absolutely stunning though. And that is my second Mother's song on my curated list. Right, the next one is we jump forward to modern day, and there's a couple in here which are modern day, and this next one is Noah Kahan off Styx Season, called Call Your Mum. And I absolutely love this song, and I will tell you why. This particular album is the We Will All Be Here Forever, and it's kind of a deluxe one with a couple of extended tracks and bits and pieces on it. But Call Your Mum is such a wonderful song to listen to as an older person, which obviously I am. And Noah Kahan was in his early 20s when he wrote that song, and it was just so gorgeous. And it's a song about, I'll call your mum. You're probably too drunk to drive home. Let me call your mum. And who would say that but a young person? And young people probably wouldn't even think about how poignant that is, call your mum. Like, you would still say that. Like, it's just stunning. And as he gets older, I can't wait for him to be, I mean, I probably won't see it, but when he's an older man singing that song, Call Your Mum, there'll be a poignancy about it. So that's the next song on my list. And then the other sort of more sort of modern day song was this song that Brandi Carlile released on her masterpiece, By the Way I Forgive You, called The Mother. And I remember hearing Ann Powers from NPR talking about The Mother for the first time. And when you hear that song for the first time, it never hits the same again. It's the hearing The Mother for the first time is the greatest it will ever get. Once you get to know it, you don't skip over it, but you become very, very familiar with it. But I will never forget that feeling I had the first time I heard it about becoming a mother, being a mother, and all the things that they do, kids do. They trash your car, they stop you from living, but you are the mother of this person, and there's nothing actually more important. And this was a cute little single that Brandi Carlile put out at the time, and it's a picture disc with a gorgeous artwork of, I'll put it up the right way so you can see it. It's an etched artwork, and you can see the mother. It's got all this beautiful hair and embryonic kind of vibe about it, and that's the mother and looking into the child. I'll just see if there's an artist credit on here for that person. No, there isn't. I'm sorry about that I haven't got that on me. Right, the next one was only released last year from a folk artist, Patty Griffin, one of the great storytellers in Americana now. And she released this album called Crown of Roses, and that is her mother on her wedding day on the cover. And I think she had a not terribly happy relationship with her mother. It's hard to tell, but she's written a couple of beautiful songs about her mother. This whole album was a tribute, a sort of an album written in grief after her mother died. One of her great songs she wrote in tribute to her mother was a song called Burgundy Shoes. Look that up. It's stunning. That's off one of her earlier albums, which is one of my favorite albums. But this album, this is a really deep cut, and the song is A Word, and it's the final song on the album. So you can pause here and go listen to the Spotify playlist if you want to. It's the final, and I put it on the playlist just because it's a stunningly simple song. You have to hear it to understand, but it's very sparse. It comes after Patty Griffin has had her own illnesses. She lost her voice for a long time. This was the first album she released in 5 years, and she had cancer. She lost her ability to sing. Her mother died, and this was her kind of comeback album. And her voice has got this fragility about it, but particularly in this last song on this album, it's just poignant. So that is A Word by Patty Griffin. The next one, another deep cut, but a classic in my mind. I think if you know Kate Bush, you know this song. And it's on her absolute masterpiece, Hounds of Love. And you can see there, I purchased this off Dylan from Noble Records, Voice of America auctions. I've always wanted the original of this album because it came in a kind of a purple, this purple marble color. That was the original pressing, and he had it for sale, and I bought it. And it's got the radio numbers across there, which I don't mind at all. The song I'm talking about on this album is called Mother Stands for Comfort, and what I love about this song and the sequencing of this album, it's quite synth heavy, and it's Hounds of Love has got all the synths and the drums, and the whole album is just an exceptional album. But Mother Stands for Comfort comes on. It's the second last song of side one. And there's almost like this Joni Mitchell and Jarko with his fretless bass vibe about it. And it's not a fretless bass. When I look up the bass player, he seems to be a European double bass player, but plays a lot of experimental electric double bass, upright bass. And when you hear it, it's got this beautiful, gorgeous sort of sliding fretless bass sound all through it. And then I think there might be some synth. The song itself is just beautiful and classic Kate Bush, and I think is one of the absolute highlights on this already brilliant album. And so this is the album with the song Running Up the Hill, which of course had a huge comeback with Stranger Things a few years ago. So that's my next song on my Mother's Day playlist. Here's a deep cut by a very, very old school, legendary singer and banjo player. And I say that because that's what the album is called. This is an original Folkways from the early 60s. I think it was the 60s, of a 1930s folk master called Doc Boggs. This guy had been, Pete Seeger actually went to find him, and he'd just given up music back in the 30s, and he went to find him in the 60s and found him, and they put out his music. And there's a wonderful song on this album called Mother's Advice. It's a simple song, but it really transcends time. And when you hear this wonderful song, like written and sung in probably the Depression era, and it probably could stand true in 2026, almost 100 years later. Mother's Advice never changes, and it's just a tribute to great songwriting. So this was Folkways Doc Boggs album. This is my original, which I picked up a little while ago when I picked up an amazing folk collection. Folkways Records. This actual one came out in, I think it was 1960, I can't quite remember, 66 maybe. And here's a picture of Doc Boggs in the 60s, 64, when they found him. And he agreed to put out this music. Amazing story, actually, if you look it up. All right, the next one by the gorgeous Graham Parsons, and this vinyl copy that I have of Grievous Angel is my Vinyl Me Please, but I've got the Rhino. I've got several versions of this, but I loved this Vinyl Me Please when it came out. And they were kind of the first ones doing all these classic albums. I mean, they're a dime a dozen now, aren't they, all the hi-fi releases. Comes with a fantastic booklet, as always. This one was written by Jonathan Bernstein, a research editor at the Rolling Stone. And the song, I'm going to be putting on my playlist for today is Brass Buttons, which has been highly credited to being about his mother. And when it's a very sad song, when you actually, we all know the song, when you really listen to the lyrics, and it's about remembering her. And he had a tragic early life. His father took his own life, and then they both were alcoholics, and then his mother died young. And this is sort of this Brass Button song as a tribute to her. Beautiful, beautiful song. Right, the next one's just a little bit of fun. It was another one of the first ones that I thought about when I thought about doing this list, this kind of curated list. And it's from the Shirelles, Mama Said. The moment I say that, you'll know the song, right? Like you can hear it in your head. Everyone knows that song. And I thought, God, I've got to have a copy of it. And I didn't until I found out and worked out, yes, I do have a copy. It's on this very tacky soundtrack called One Fine Day. Now, I collect soundtracks from kind of from the 80s and 90s of these kind of, lots of space soundtracks through the 70s and 80s. And then at the 80s, these classic compilation soundtracks where a lot of it was just songs, and this was one of them, and it was a George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer, and this was the first time it was released on vinyl. But the fun thing about this film, the film is it's absolutely fine. It's a rom-com from the 90s, but the soundtrack is so great, and that's what sells the film. And on it is the Shirelles' Mama Said, but also Natalie Merchant singing One Fine Day, Keb Mo, oh God, he was such a great artist, The Glory of Love, Harry Connick Jr., This Guy's in Love with You. You kind of get the vibe. Sean Colvin, Someone Like You, The Chiffons, One Fine Day, obviously. Van Morrison, Have I Told You Lately? So it's a full love song soundtrack. Tina Arena, great Australian singer, sings Love's Funny That Way. But on here, track 4, side 1, is the Shirelles' Mama Said. Oh, love that song. Right, and now another Vinyl Me Please. Gosh, I hadn't realised I think I've got 3 in here. This was the Vinyl Me Please version of the Live at Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash. And the amazing song, which is so poignant, starts side 2, track 1, Send a Picture of Mother. And you can imagine this, he's singing to inmates, and it's about a guy in prison. Send a picture of your mother. It's, it's a pretty obvious song, but it's really sad. And I love this album. I've never done a top 100 albums list. I wonder if I should one day. But I think this would be on it. This is one of my favourite albums ever. He's in fine voice. He has so much history under his belt. And the crowd is amazing. Both the prison albums, but I love the Folsom Prison, probably the best. He was in fine voice. I just love the albums. So this Vinyl Me Please, again, a beautiful reproduction of this one. And this one was actually, I think this was the Vinyl Me Please #1. And I subscribed like so fast to that track when it first came out. And it came with a scarf, a Vinyl Me Please country scarf as well. And reproduced the Columbia label. It was on gold. And then finally, I have a bonus 11th song to finish all this off. And I don't have a copy of this. I'm bracketing this list with 2 albums I don't have copies of and 2 albums I'm going to get. The first one, top of the video, was Bruce Springsteen, I Wish. I'm definitely going to get that Broadway soundtrack album. And tracks, the original tracks. The last one, the bonus 11th album, is the debut album by Lynyrd Skynyrd, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, the title of the album. And the beautiful song, Simple Man. And it's, for me, when I listen to that song, it is really the perfect Mother's Day song to all mothers of sons. It's just a beautifully, beautifully written piece of poetry that succinctly says, and it's sort of another advice song. We've had a few advice songs about be a simple man. That's all I can offer you. And I think it apart from the musicianship and the musicality of that song, when you hear it, you're just like, oh, I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's on, as I said, it's on their debut album. And so I'm leaving you with that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. I hope you've enjoyed this compilation. Remember, I put a playlist of the Spotify songs in, and that's for you, Mum, so you can listen on Spotify. Click that link. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.